Damn these Biloxi blues, it happens every night.
Yeah.
And I ain't never met a riverboat dealer that could ever be a friend of mine.
No.
The summer heat never treats me kind, it leaves trouble on my mind. So I'm bidding farewell, putting in my notice, and I'll see you at another time.
Sing.
This highway does not know my name, and I don't care, no, I don't care. Headed my way for another place, and I got 3 good tires and a spare.
Right to the hook right here.
Just a white line gypsy getting out of Mississippi with just enough gas to get there.
Low budget live, not so very live, from the Low Budget Live Bar and Grill here in beautiful southern Middle Tennessee. And if I seem distracted, if I seem all over the place, there's lots going on here in the Bar and Grill right now specifically. But recording this is the podcast for Monday, April the 24th, 2023. I'm recording it on Sunday because I typically do that. Y'all know that. You've been listening for a while, you bunch of low-lifers. And if you're new to the show, this is how we do it. Sometimes we do it live, but we do it not so live a whole lot. I am completely blown away, perplexed, and pumped right now. Lots of bass fishing craziness. We're going to get to it. I was a spectator for some of it firsthand, and now I'm watching it go down right here on my glorious MacBook. Drew Benton, congrats to Drew Benton, Bassmaster Elite Series champion there, dude. At Lake Murray, I've been keeping up with. I've been driving today back from the studio in Wisconsin for MPFL. And I've been keeping up with it off and on today. I haven't got to watch a lot this week because I've been working. And, man, Hunter Schrock drops 21 today. Great event for Hunter. 22-9 the first day, 23-5, 18-5, and then 21-4 today. All day he had a crazy fish catch, fish wrecks around the dock early this morning. Crazy stuff happening. He's emotional. Covering tournaments, being in tournaments, there's just that feeling like, yep, Hunter's day. Hunter's fixing to get his first blue trophy. Drew had been catching them all week, but dropped all the way down to either 9th or 10th yesterday. 14 even yesterday, okay? Has 23 even the first day, 23-9, and then 14 pounds. Drops 20. Hang on a second. 26-7 on the final day at Lake Murray. Hang on one second. 26 pounds to win. I had no clue. I've not looked at it in a while. I've been busy. I haven't been home long. And came out here to record the old podcast for the week, and I pulled it up, and it was right to him weighing in. And holy crap. Congrats to Drew Benton. Drew boy. I like me some Drew Benton. Of course, Drew Cook make the top 10. John Cox. Cox Watch did not fish the MPFL with us this week. Bassmaster, they're in 5th place, man, overall. Patrick Walters, Coach Walters with a 4th place. Jason Williamson, Jay Will, Bernie Schultz in the top 10. Anyways, and then Kenta Kimura, and I cannot say Fujita's first name, so we'll just go with Fujita, and that may not be how you say it, but he's a fantastic young Japanese angler. All right, so anyway, sorry. Just more ADD than normal, really. Lots going on, but that just happened right as I hit record. And, yeah, holy crap. Congrats to Drew. Back-to-back Elite Series there. Back-to-back. Going to Santee next, where Drew Cook, his roommate, travel buddy, brother from another mother, where he won last year. Oh, me. All right. Got that. I had to just ramble about that for a second. It's wild, man. I'm sure maybe he wasn't sight fishing, but I think he was bed fishing a lot of the week. So if he caught the bulk of that bag, and I have no idea sight fishing, that's even crazier. But it's been a crazy bass fishing weekend, Lord knows, and we're going to get to that here in a minute. But got to thank some sponsors real fast to make it all possible here on Low Budget Live. That's what I say on MPFL. I almost said MPFL. That's what I say before every commercial. Let's check in with the sponsors to make it all possible here at the National Professional Fishing League. So I'm doing my commentary shtick that I just got through doing with my buddy Fatty Cat Newton up there in Wisconsin, but I've been talking. So my brain's fried, and I've been talking for hours. Second we wrapped, I started driving south, stopped about halfway, drove the rest of the 7 hours this morning home. So I am fried. But I do want to thank the fine sponsors of Low Budget Live. Let's start with StarTron, kicking ethanol in the teeth. It was funny. I had a conversation with a guy yesterday in the studio about StarTron because they were talking about bad gas up there in Wisconsin. Oh, you can't go to this gas station because it was more like, oh, you can't go to this gas station because it's not that bad. But what I'm saying is how I sound don't fit in. You know what I'm saying? And these are my guys. These are my dudes. But my buddy Andy up there in the studio and Scott Piper, our director, they were talking about this. And this place has got bad gas. This place has got bad gas. You can't do this. You can't do that. I said, StarTron, boys. Does anybody here know about StarTron? And we had a fun conversation about StarTron, but it kicks ethanol in the teeth. That's all you need to know. Gets ethanol out of their enzyme-powered fuel treatment. A lot of your gas has got ethanol in it. Kick it in the teeth. With StarTron, a little dab will do. You can find this stuff everywhere, anywhere. I mean, other than like McDonald's. StarTron bringing you Low Budget Live for 6 years now. Long time. Great peoples. Pro Guide Batteries. ProGuideBatteries.com. You can use code LBL10 to let them know you're a low lifer. Go check out their new lithium line. I'm running the trolling motor batteries. I've got a new cranking battery that I'm going to play with here very soon that they've sent me that meets all requirements that you need out there on the water. I've never ran a lithium cranking battery, but it's going to take a lot of weight out of the boat. They charge back so fast, it's incredible, man. Like that's what gets me on the trolling motor batteries is it does not take long for them to come back, but I haven't killed them. Like I stand on these things, and I've gone a couple days in between charges, and just impressed by the pro guys, man. Check them out, ProGuideBatteries.com, baitworks.com, bait-works.com. I see y'all out there using Duncan-10 at bait-works.com. LOB jigs available in 7 colors now. It's got the Low Budget Live logo on the package. It's a low lifer design jig. What can I say? Trocar hook in that bad boy. I got them laying right here. You can't really see them great, but I'm proud. I like to look at them. If I'm not getting to fish enough, I like to at least look at the LOBs. But a full lineup of all kinds of goodies. Some new Toad Thumper frogs coming soon. Some new Toad Thumper plastics coming soon. Liking me some of those Toad Thumper crawl gills. They got a wide mega bass assortment. All the dadgum mag drafts in the world right there. Baitworks.com. Let them know you're a low lifer, Duncan-10. And last but not least, hang the banner. Bassmaster Classic winning banner. The Express X21 Pro. The original all-welded aluminum bass boat. 96-inch beam. I mean, badass. Bow to stern. Transom to trolling motor. It's a beast. Put you a 250 Yamaha shell on the back of that bad boy. C-deck covered up. But I would like to say, as I do talk about the X21 because it is what I have. I'm very proud to have. Lots of other great models in the lineup. X19, the H17. Fantastic. They have the #1 bay boat in the country. Lots and lots of good stuff going on in Hot Springs, Arkansas. Go take a test drive. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. Express Boats, building excitement since 1966. I'm actually, if you're going to be in the Hot Springs area, I need to see where this is at. Let me look this up real fast. I will be doing the MC duties once again this year. It's a little earlier this year, thank God, because I almost died last year. It was so hot. The Arkansas Commissioners Cup high school tournament. I had such a great time last year on behalf of Express Boats there. Let's see if I can pull up. I can't remember if it's, and this is just my bad, I can't remember if it's on Hamilton or Ouachita. Let me look this up here. But I will be there. I will be there in the flesh. No rest for the wicked. It will be on Lake Hamilton, at the Lake Hamilton Public Boat Ramp. I'll be there. I'll have the X21 in tow, but I'll be out there. If any of you low-lifers are around, come hang out, man. I'm going to be doing the MC. Some great kids fishing that. Last year I had a great time, man. They have a junior division. It's a lot of fun. Having a gaggle full of kids here at the house, I like giving kids a hard time. I like picking at them. It's something my dad always did, I guess, around me and my buddies, and just, dad jokes, right? Like just slinging those dad jokes out. But I had a great time last year and looking forward to more of the same this year, this coming Saturday, April 29th. So come by and say hi if you're in the area, and check out the boat. We'll be there, and I'll be there. So, all right. One other thing I have to say before we get into the nitty gritty here is very exciting week. A lot of y'all that listen to this are music fans. Them Turnpike Troubadour boys, Cats Out of the Bag, new album coming, new single, Mean Old Son, about to drop. Just got to say that because my dude Ryan, those are good folks, and worked so freaking hard on this album. And I may or may not. I mean, it's gonna be good. I'm just gonna say that. Like, it's good. It's good. Y'all gonna like it. It's gonna be a showstopper. I mean, gonna be a lot of songs on it. I believe that they're gonna be sung at their shows for many, many years to come. But big news in the music world right there. Just gotta throw that out there. Them Troubadour boys right there. So congrats to Ryan and the gang on that. One of their songs actually leaked. So they had to do the release a little earlier. Damn internet. That's kind of what I'm fixing to talk about. The damn internet. I love the internets for a multitude of reasons, but they're just people who are just stupid on the internet. And some stupid person got a hold of one of their songs and just leaked it. So they had to go ahead and release a little teaser a little earlier than they were going to. But cat's out of the bag for sure. All right. So today, man, just so many things to say about MPFL and the MPFL event. First of all, I am, and I say this after every single one of them, but I am so grateful I get to do what I get to do for them. The commentating job, like, it's just, I wish it was all I did in life. No offense to anything else that I have going on in life other than the podcast. Like, I would still do the podcast, but it's just fun. Like, I see how guys like Zona, or Tommy Sanders, but outside of fishing, the folks that get in that commentary world, I see why they enjoy it so much. It's a lot of work. It's stressful at times, but it's so much fun. It's so rewarding, and I love it. I love every second of it. And getting to work with Fat Cat, it's just a great time, man. We've got a great crew in studio. Shout out to my dudes Andy, Brian, and Scott up there at the Fix TV studio, and Brian Keller up there at Fix Productions. It's awesome, man. The weighing in show, we're having so much fun this year. But I am, before I say anything, about the topic here, I'm heavily invested in the MPFL. I consider all the ownership friends, not bosses. They're great people. And I've said this time and time again, man, they've had a bad shake a time or two, some weird stuff that's happened, and great people running a great tournament. And I think anybody, it's cool to hear a veteran like a Darrell Robertson, former Forest Wood Cup champ, is fishing with us this year. He was saying the other day, it's like the best tournament trail he's ever fished. Like, that's so cool to hear from me, because I see it. I fished a lot of events, and I see it with these guys. It's a well-ran deal, and paying out big money this year, $100,000. So great event. Texarkana, Texas. Of course, I was in studio in Appleton, Wisconsin, but Texarkana, Wright Patman Lake, killer venue. Great host city. Tournament's awesome. Shallow water, bush flipping, frogging, insanity. Visually as good as it gets bass fishing wise. And a little bit off, weight wise this time from where it was last time we were there. That being said, crazy drama on the final day. Keith Carson makes a charge. He was the 2021 champ there. Ryan Satterfield, the local boy, makes a big charge. And when the dust settles, Barron Adams, Georgia pro, who just joined us this year, and great dude, and a fantastic angler. Okay. I got to spend, several hours over his shoulder, not in the boat, but watching this guy do work out there on Wright Patman 2 days in a row. Both days of our coverage, he was on camera. Wright Patman was very inconsistent. He was extremely consistent over the first 2 days, 17-something the first day, 18-something the second day, but charges into the lead. Sheldon Collins, who we had on the show after Pickwick, right there in the mix as well. And you pull for all these guys because, Timmy Reams, who's going to be leading the Progressive Angler of the Year after this, the most consistent angler out of 3 seasons in the MPFL, period, end of story. Keith Carson, fantastic human, great angler, 2021 Progressive Angler of the Year. Sheldon, who I've had on the show, comes very close with the league. He's came close so many times. You'd love to see him hoist a trophy. It's just, and Timmy Reams led it day one, going back to Timmy, 22 pounds. Like, it felt like his to lose. And then it's crazy how these things shape out. It's just like the Drew Benton thing at the Bassmaster Elite. Like, in this sport, all of these guys are so good now. So good, anything can happen. Anything can happen. And Barron Adams comes from, I think it was like 8th place day one to take the day 2 lead. It was a funky weather day. He catches them better than everybody gets in there. And it really looks like, okay, well, it's his to lose now. But he was a couple pounds, or maybe a pound and a half above Sheldon Collins, 2 pounds, Timmy Reams. Michael Yoder, another local, was right there in the mix, a couple pounds off the mark. And he was dialed, throwing a wacky worm in these buck bushes, like absolute danger. I mean, just begging for it. But he got a 6-pounder out of the bush. Some great footage, man, from Barron Adams. And it was, when we went off live at 1 o'clock, it was very knotted up, very tight. We could not have told you, most of the time we get a feeling, or we're chatting. We got camera guys on the water. We're hearing what goes on after live. And you do try to build up the drama, and sometimes it's just a blowout. Brandon Perkins blew out Pickwick, so there's no drama heading into the weigh-in. For the most part, we don't know. At Patman here, we didn't know. We don't know who's going to win. It was up. We really thought it was up in the air with 5 guys. Sheldon Collins had gone all day without a bite. He catches 2 good ones in the last 15 minutes of live. We're like, uh-oh. He made an adjustment. We're like, is he turning it around? And so we really didn't know. Keith Carson was set up on a big one on a bed after catching a really good limit cranking. We didn't know. Barron Adams, the leader, had 4 when we went off live. We didn't know. We had watched Ryan Satterfield, young local, hammer climb up the leaderboard all day long and box his 5th one right before we went off live. That was a good one. And he's like, we're working on a bag now. And so we just didn't know. And we interviewed Barron on the weighing-in show, and he's nervous. He's like, man, I'm going to puke. I think I got about 15 pounds, though, after we went off live. I catch a couple, blah, 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 blah. Well, then Ryan Satterfield weighs in, takes the lead, and Barron needed 14 and some change, and he ends up taking it. He wins. He beats Ryan Satterfield. Ryan Satterfield, biggest crowd we've had in an MPFL weigh-in. It's crazy. People everywhere for Ryan. He's a local. They're pulling for him. And his family's there. It's a really cool moment. He's very emotional. He's excited. But he finishes second to Barron Adams. Or so we think. And he's just a pound off the mark, and Barron's emotional on stage. Like I said, great guy, great angler. He's a tournament veteran. And he finished 19th at Pickwick. He's getting his footing. He gets a win. He knows Lanier very well. He knows Santee very well, where we're going next. Like, you're just feeling like Barron's fixing to be, in his first year with the league, one of our guys. And he's still going to be. But I was on my way home. I'd left the studio, and I get a phone call from Brad Fuller. And he says, hey, man, we got a situation. And and he's very, very frustrated. And frustrated might not even be the best word for you. Emotional. And Brad and I are emotional people. But he's very emotional. He says, we've got a DQ Barron. I'm like, wait, what? Like, what? And when you hear the term DQ, it's just like when my dear friend Trey Swindle got DQ'd, immediately those 2 letters, those 3 letters, DQ'd, implicates so many things. People are, oh my God, he's a cheater, he's this, he's that. I mean, you never know. And so and Brad's like, I'll let you know the details, but we got to DQ him. He did nothing shady. It's just a complete honest mistake, but we have no choice. We have no choice. And so the story was Barron thought he had a fishing license. He goes online to buy one, and for whatever reason, and we were able to see this when he went to show his fishing license there, as he was taking a polygraph, he never completed the purchase. And all of his credit card information, everything, he never got a confirmation. He never completed the purchase. And I don't know if he had potentially bad service and he thought it went through. Whatever the case was, he didn't double check it. And he didn't have a fishing license. And they had no choice. That's breaking a state law. I mean, had no choice but to DQ all 3 days. $100,000 mistake. $100,000 gone. Last place in the tournament. Won the tournament. Outfished everybody in the event by a narrow margin, a little over a pound. Wins the tournament. So that means Ryan Satterfield is your champion from stop number 2. Well earned. Fished his butt off. Great young man. Great angler. Very cool to see him have the response he did from the local community it was very cool. I know he did not want to win this way. I know he didn't. I am sure he will gladly take the trophy. And I'm sure with humility, right? But he will gladly put it on his mantle. He fished great. He'll gladly take that 100,000. Who wouldn't? Call me right now. Oh, I get $100,000? Okay. Because of somebody's mistake? You got to cross every T. If you're paying $5,200 entry fees, you got to cross every T, dot every I. That being said, it's just an oversight. Barron Adams did not do anything wrong. He made a very honest mistake. And I'd say the most heartbreaking mistake of his life thus far, especially in his fishing life. It's brutal. Brutal. Earned it. Earned the victory. Brutal. And you just hate it. And you know, of course, for us as an organization, and look, I'm just a commentator. I'm not an owner. I'm just a commentator. But these folks are family. I care about what they're doing. I'm invested in what they're doing. Obviously, I have been for 3 seasons, man. I love it. And when things like this happen, you could post Barron Adams wins by 100 pounds and it'll get 3 comments on social media. You post Barron Adams DQ'd, the Mom's Basement Mafia comes out of the woodwork, man. And you know that. And so the league is, last night we didn't make a statement. On Saturday night they didn't make a statement. They were putting together, you know, what they were going to say, because you know the Mom's Basement goons are coming, you know. And look, man, I can lay my head down at night no matter what you say about me. Trust me. I've seen me do it time and time again. I can lay my head down at night knowing what you say about the MPFL, knowing what you say about Bassmaster, knowing what you say about Live Scope, and all y'all that just spend all your damn time typing in all caps about this league's a joke because they should have checked the fishing licenses and it's their fault. Well, it's not the league's fault in the least. It's Barron's fault. Barron owned it. It's Barron's fault. Just like it was Trey's fault that he didn't have the correct insurance at the Chesapeake Bay event. He could have won there. It's an unfortunate situation. Like Hank Weldon said, he hated to have to DQ Trey. Brad Fuller and Sean Mullow, they hated to have to DQ freaking Barron. Trust me. But they did the right thing. They did the right thing. But I can assure you, it is not the tournament organization's responsibility to wipe your ass. It's not. It's not. They're not going to follow around, clean up after you get through eating. Oh, make sure you tie that jig on so you get more bites. Make sure you got your batteries charged and your boat gassed up, fellas. No. So anybody that points fingers at an organization for making a ruling like that, like, get out of here. That's silly, especially one that is a completely 1,000% controllable variable. Period. End of story. It is. It's a damn shame, but it's controllable. It is. It's controllable. I fished many tournaments. Bassmaster Opens when I was in my, right out of college. While I was in college, I fished them as an adult. In the last couple of years, I fished the FLW Tour. I have fished BFLs. I have fished multiple tournaments. They do not ask for fishing license. They do not. I've seen multiple comments. Well, Bass does. They don't. Maybe they do now. Maybe they are this year. They weren't. They don't. It's rare that you have to show that. Now, that was my argument when Trey got DQ'd, is I do think if insurance is required, which it is, that everybody should have to submit it at the first year. If you're a contestant in the tournament, submit it. I think with every tournament trail, MPFL included, before practice starts, you should have to submit that you have a fishing license. Everything's digital now. You can do that. And it will, I agree, help avoid situations like this. But this was an absent-minded mistake an angler made, and it is not the organization's fault in the least. When I tell you the level of devastation that they had to make this ruling, because I was in it, man, on the phone, in the mix, and I'm just a commentating guy. Brutal. Fat Cat Newton involved. We were devastated for Barron. We still are. But to see people just going ham, and it's inevitable. It doesn't matter what it is, sports or politics or whatever. And I talk about this a lot on here because it's just so ridiculous. And you would think that, I don't know, man, it's just that people would catch their breath every now and then and not type something just completely asinine, but they do. Every single time. I've seen comments like, well, MPFL rigged it so the local boy could win. What? We gave the dude the damn check and trophy. He won the tournament. He won. Then he didn't have what he needed. How's that rigging it? Just stupid. But, man, my heart just goes out to the league. It goes out to Barron, and it goes out to Ryan Satterfield, man. The kid got his first big win, $100,000 check on a technicality. It'll always have an asterisk next to him, but he's a great angler. And he'll win again. But the negative comments I've seen going towards that young man are completely off base as well. It's not okay, man. It's not okay. There's so much, though, negativity, and Fat Cat and I were talking about that this weekend. Overall, in the fishing social media spectrum, especially around tournaments, it's just bizarre, dude. You can't make everybody, if it's a shallow water tournament, everybody wants them to be live scoping. If it's a live scope tournament, everybody's pissed off that they're not shallow. Sight fishing. If they're sight fishing, everybody's pissed off because they're killing the fisheries because they're catching those poor fish off the bed. Why don't you leave them alone? If it's MLF, they hate JT Kinney and Marty Stone. If it's Bassmaster, they hate Dave Mercer and Mark Zone and Ronnie Moore. If it's MPFL, they hate me and Fat Cat. It's bizarre. It's so crazy, man. But they're commenting. They're keeping up with every single move, I guess, to make their existence better in life. I don't know. But yeah, man, it's been a crazy couple days, and we are going to right now. I'm gonna see if I can get him on the phone. Like I said, thank the world of these people. There have been a couple of tense moments over the years. We don't always see eye to eye. This man will tell you that. I'm brutally honest. Y'all know that. This is not an act. When I get on this microphone, I tend to say what I'm thinking, right, wrong, or indifferent. This fella does the same thing, but we're going to get the sauce from him, presented by the W Sauce, America's Worcestershire sauce. And makers of the new Barron Burton's breakfast sauce. And dude, this is no joke. I'm going to tell this on myself. Small batch breakfast sauce. When it says so good, you'll want breakfast all day. The other morning I made me, I talk about eggs, made me a little egg, made me a little omelet, a little goat cheese. That's my deal. Love it. Love it. Almost every morning. If I'm home, that's my deal. And I used to be a big salsa guy. Still am. Love salsa. But dude, I've started using this. And the other morning I done made me it's like a 2-egger, get it. I eat it and I'm like, got it slathered up in the old breakfast sauce. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to make another one. You're making me fat, Barron Burtons. That's for sure. But bringing you all the interviews on Low Budget Live, the sauce. And we're going to get it right now from El Presidente himself. I was going to talk to Barron Adams, and we will at some point. Stings too bad, man. I'm not going to call him and be like, oh, how you feeling, man? I know how he feels. I lived it with Trey. And Trey didn't have to turn around and hand somebody back a $100,000 check. He did miss an opportunity of potentially going to the Bassmaster Classic, missing his chance to go out there and try to catch them up on the final day there at Chesapeake Bay. But I lived it, man. I lived it. I lived the tears on the phone with him crying, me crying, talking to his mama, seeing him going through it, talking to Uncle G. I lived it. I don't need to hear from Barron right now. He doesn't need me bugging him for a Low Budget Live interview. Same goes for Ryan Satterfield. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk to Brad Fuller from the MPFL. Let's see if we can get him. He's driving home from the event right now. And just get, the word from the boss here. Ladies and gentlemen, El Presidente, Brad Fuller from the National Professional Fishing League. What's up, buddy?
Hey, what's up, Luke?
Oh, just actually just smashing Mom's Basement Warriors right now. Before I called you, I was just going off like they go off.
Fingers of fury, buddy?
Yeah, the fingers of fury. It's the league's fault that a guy gets disqualified for not having a fishing license. Because you didn't personally tuck everybody into bed and make sure that everything was as it should be.
Well, buddy, I'm never shy about voicing my opinion, and I'm sure that's exactly why you called me. So, yeah, man, I've honestly stayed away from it a little bit, Luke. Obviously, I'm really close to it. It's been a tough day, man.
No doubt.
Real tough day. Yep.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying before I called. Barron, we're just getting to know him this year. He's new to the league. Fantastic guy. Great angler. Top 20 at Pickwick. Wins here. Makes a very honest mistake, man. I hate to even call it a dumb mistake, or you know what I mean, because I don't want him to think I'm insulting him in any way. It's just it's an oversight. I lived it with Trey Swindle and the Bassmaster Insurance DQ. It sucks. It's the only way to put it. I was telling folks, I talked to you last night right after, the ruling was being kicked around and you're like, hey, this is what we're fixing to have to do. And I just want people, there's such a human element to this. It's not you, because you are messing with people's livelihoods. Ultimately these decisions affect families. A guy's been out there. He's invested in the league this year, paid his entry fee, shows up, doing work, did it better than anybody this week. So these decisions aren't made lightly, correct? I mean, they're just not.
Yeah, man, not at all. I was, we had a lot going on, obviously. And I knew as soon as we were informed of what was going on, that if something drastic didn't happen, you kind of know the outcome. It's plainly and clearly explained in rules under Rule 3. So I knew what was in front of me, and man, I was dreading that conversation right from the get. And the other thing, man, it was a tough week on the anglers, right? Wright Patman was in a little bit of a funk, and he worked his hind end off, man.
Yes, he did.
And as all the anglers did, even the guys, I know you talked to Mitchell Webb, like, man, these guys fished really hard. They put in 3 hard days of work, and and Barron, he did it better than anybody this week. And based on an administrative error on his part, it cost him him and his family. It cost him $100,000. It cost him, I know Barron's a little embarrassed. You know what I mean?
For sure, of course. Yeah, of course, man.
And man, he was devastated, buddy. When you see another man who's worked really hard have something ripped away from him by his own hand, it doesn't matter how it happened. It's hard to watch somebody go through that and be part of it. So, man, it was tough. And look, man, I also knew from the get what this was going to turn into, just because of the bass fishing world and how people are.
A lot of negativity at times.
Yeah,
these days.
And I told you, man, I was like, man, people love to see people suffer. It seems
they do.
like.
They do.
And yes. I don't think they understand it, man. I don't expect them to. We're very close to this, and yeah, man, it was tough, and we had a lot of work to get done, a lot of things we had to make sure we did right. We're under a microscope every tournament, and you know, when things like this happen, it just kind of puts you right there in the spotlight. We had to make sure that everything was done correctly.
That's right, because I've seen some folks, you know, why release this, you know, 17 hours later? Well, it wasn't. It's out of, in my opinion, it was out of respect for Barron. It's out of respect to Ryan. You want to be sure that when you do go public with it, that it's worded in a way that doesn't insult either one of them. I mean, you owe it to the guys, you know?
That's it. We owe it to the anglers. And I pulled all the anglers, you know, because we cut checks right there on the spot. And I had to pull the anglers aside, say, look, guys, this is, you know, not exactly, but this is what's going on. We're dealing with a situation. Checks are going to be delayed, because we had to stop all that. Michelle already had the checks cut, but I had to have her hold those checks. Then we had to have Ray pull down the leaderboard. We have all of our social media stuff ready to go out. We had a lot of things to stop. Then we had to reevaluate the situation about how we're gonna move forward. We had to start to get press releases ready. We had to, and first and foremost, and people don't know this. So Barron and his camera guy, Barron had his rain suit on because it was kind of cool and misty in the morning, and he had his keys in his pocket of his rain pants. When he put his rain pants in the boat, well, you know, in the tournament day in the middle of his truck.
Hang on a second, Brad. You cut out right there on that part. You said in the middle of a tournament day, what?
His pants flew out of the boat.
His rain pants. Oh my gosh.
And his keys were in those pants.
Oh my gosh.
So Stu Arthur's wife hooked Barron's boat up. She was down at the ramp. We know we had about a 20-minute drive. She drove Barron in their other vehicle to the ramp and actually pulled him through the weigh-in. So we had to figure out how to get Barron's truck unlocked on top of all this other stuff going on. We were working with the local sheriff there to get someone out there to unlock his truck. He did have a spare set of keys in his boat, but man, it was just one thing after another. And the only thing I cared about was taking care of Barron, making sure that we did things by the book, and make sure the and the social, all those things we have to do to get things in line and in order. And you know, man, I'm proud of how the league handled this. I mean, from my perspective, nothing about this was easy, man. Absolutely nothing. And then we had to get the trophy and all that stuff to Ryan Satterfield and his family. You know, kind of that deal. So we were literally out to about 9:30 last night after the venue, still cleaning up some of that stuff.
Unbelievable, man. And I know Ryan, he's a great young angler. And look, you know, Barron didn't win this tournament by 20 pounds. He won it by a little over a pound margin originally. Ryan was right outside the top 10 on day one, then vaults into the top 10 on day two, and then ends up in second. He deserves the trophy, right? If anybody but Barron's going to get it, Ryan is more than deserving. He knows Wright Patman well. And I hate that, you know, he's going to catch a little heat from this, but at the same time, like, fished his ass off, had a great event, like so many of our anglers did, man. We are, this year, we've got a small field. You know, I've talked about it on here. We're fishing. We started with, 76, I guess, is where we were at.
Yep.
And we've lost one angler, and we've still got our Elite Series. I'm going to call them traders. That's what I'll call them. They, our boys, which they traded up right this week. They both top 10'd it, and we're proud for them over at Lake Murray in the Elite Series. John Cox, Patrick Walters, and we'll see those boys again at Santee. But so we had 73 this week, and in my opinion, having covered this for 3 years, and I think you'll back me up on this, this is the toughest field we have had by a long shot. It's brutal, dude.
Per capita, right?
Yes.
There are more guys who can flat out catch them and know their way around a bass boat in the lake. You just look at Darryl Robinson, Lindell Martin,
oh, man.
Charlie. Listen, Darryl's having a heck of a year, man.
Yes, he is.
And he is energized about being in the MPFL. I talked to him and Lindell and Darryl's son-in-law, Charlie Afferson, dinner the other night, man. They're serious about it, and they're out there to win. And I wouldn't surprise me a bit if one of those guys doesn't take a shield home this year. So, yeah, man, it's tough.
Oh, it's so tough. And you got guys like Sheldon, and you got guys like Keith Carson, and then, of course, when you throw Patrick Walters in the mix, John Cox. But a guy like Barron, who we didn't know much about before this year, when I started digging in, once his name was on the roster, I mean, the guy's got a great track record. He catches them. A ton, but we got Timmy Reams out there just dropping bombs. Gary Atkins all the time in the mix, except for this event. I will say I gotta give Gary a little bit of crap, and it's okay when this is the only crap you can give a guy. It's his first check he's missed in 7 events. Seven straight events, man.
So we know he's human.
Yes, so he is human. He's not a robot. He's not a fishing robot. Yeah.
Yeah, but man, you get like Keith Carson, Mike Corbishley, Trent Palmer,
yes,
like that whole group of guys, Richard Cooper, Brian Hatfield, like there's a whole bunch of dudes, man, and I know I'm leaving guys out.
Oh yeah, it's hard to name everybody. You can almost name the whole field, dude. Name the whole field.
Any one of those guys, and plus a whole bunch more that we didn't name, they can win. Like one of those guys I just named will win a shield this year.
Oh yeah.
And I tell you, man, you never know how this is going to affect somebody. I've chatted a little bit with Barron today, just via text while we're traveling back from Texas. Man, I hope he's excited about Santee Cooper. He's really excited about Lake Lanier. I really feel like he's got a chance, and if he takes this and uses this for fuel to fire when he kind of gets on the other side of it, man, there's still a chance he could win 2 of these things this year. So
I would agree with
that. He's good,
that.
Man. You watched the way he picked that cover apart, the way he kept it together. He had an issue on the water with the power pole. He called me. He called Sean. We got happy on the phone. He told him what to do. They took care of it. Like, that could have derailed him and cost him the victory, but he was able, because of his experience, to stay in there and catch the most weight in the tournament. And, man, again, to see someone on the highest highs of their career in one moment and just not even 10 minutes later, man, it turns into the worst moment in your career. Like, it's like I said, man, it was gut wrenching to go through with him. And, man, I just hope that he bounces back. And, we don't have favorites, man, but I'd love to see him win one just for the redemption factor.
No doubt about it, buddy. And we don't have, we shouldn't say we don't have favorites. Fat Cat and I talk about that a lot. We do have favorites that we pull for all of them. We really do, because so many of these guys we've been with since 2021. You get to know them personally off the water. You know what they go through. And you're a tournament angler. You know what they go through just from that sense, just like I do. I know what it's like to be in that Category 5 hurricane of a big-time tournament competing against these guys. I mean, when I look through here, the Brandon Perkins of the world, Brandon went. Think about this. Let's talk a little stats, because I just pulled up our leaderboard here, and this is mind-blowing to me. Really how tight this is going to be. Luis Fernandez, top 10 at Pickwick, 11th at Wright Patman. Brandon Perkins wins Pickwick, 12th at Wright Patman. Timmy Reams, 2nd at Pickwick, 3rd at Wright Patman. Todd Goad, great event at Pickwick. I forget where he was at, but 5th at Wright Patman. I mean, so many of these guys. Jesse Wise. There's so many of these guys. This race, you got Trent Palmer, Mike Corbishley both came back. got checks here at Wright Patman. They both had great events at Pickwick. Corbishley was third there. So the dadgum progressive AOY is going to be stupid headed into Santee Cooper, to be honest. Timmy Reams, yes, is going to have a decent little lead, but it's not going to be that runaway train going into Santee, that's for sure.
No, man. And that, we always say, and you and I joke about this, like, you really can't start really dialing in that AOY until, like, after event 4.
That's right.
But, dude, listen, you're going to where there's some guys we haven't seen or heard from that are probably going to have a really good event at Lanier or at Santee Cooper.
For sure.
And then we go back up to Saginaw, where depending on how that thing shakes out, that's kind of a wide open event too because of the diversity of the fishery.
For sure. Absolutely, dude. And then we're going to have we hope you fall is good, but you never know in September anywhere, right? Like, we don't know. We know it's got bigs in it. We know it's got a lot of fish. That could fish tough. We don't know. You could fish tough.
Well,
it could be a great equalizer.
There's zero. And if you remember, we kind of set it up that way last year too. So Eufaula, Oklahoma will be a certified, bona fide textbook grinder tournament.
Yes.
It's fishing in the fall. We went to a lake that's got a good population of fish. It's a ginormous body of water. The field can spread out. But that is going to be the catalyst that sends you into Lanier. So there could be a huge shakeup in that grinder tournament.
Yes.
Because you know how those grinders are, man. Like, everybody's got it's a chip in a seat, right? Like,
yes.
Everyone's got a shot. So we think that thing will only get tighter at Eufaula. And look, man, I caught some grief from a couple anglers this week. Like, oh man, you could probably imagine one Mitchell Webb's like, what were you thinking?
Yeah.
I bet Mitchell ends up doing well there. But it's going to be interesting, man. We're excited about it.
He told Fat Cat and I on the way in show that he hated it. He said he hates Eufaula.
Well, well, listen, Mitchell Webb's, as we say about all the anglers, he's a liar.
They're all liars, dude. We get to see them lie live all the time. They'll weigh a fish and they'll be like, that said 310. Oh, put it in. It's a 2 3/4. Like, what are you doing? We saw you, liar.
Yeah. Just in case my scale's off. Like, bro, if your scale's off 3/4 of a pound, throw it away.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So, well, dude, while I got you here for all the low life and son of a guns and gals out there that are listening, so this year was, and I think you'll agree, it was kind of crazy, right? They've all been crazy. All 3 years have been crazy, but this one was especially crazy because a lot of guys, I shouldn't use the term left us, but they did. We had folks go dip their toes in the Bassmaster Opens, go play around over there in the invitationals and things, and we made a late announcement, $100,000 paydays, unbelievable, and it got a lot of attention, but we were off our mark where we wanted to be boat wise, and you guys made the decision to, hey, let's run this thing. Let's do it. Let's give it all we got. And dude, I mean, so far, what are your thoughts? I mean, it's fishing the smaller field. To me, it's been awesome. I know we would love to have 150, 130, whatever, but to me, it's been well worth it. It's been a great season, even though this one was a little frustrating with how it shook out for Barron, but awesome 2 events so far.
Yeah, man. Talk about Texarkana real quick, dude. There was, the city came and they said, hey, we think there was between 550 and 600 people there to weigh in. It is a phenomenal event. We think, Saginaw is going to be great. All the venues we have left are going to be great for our fan turnout. So, yeah, man, listen, dude, we talk a lot, obviously me, you, and me, Fat Cat.
We don't want to talk to Fat Cat. We don't have, it's forced upon us.
Listen, we made a mistake, right?
Yeah, you hired him.
No, I mean, we came out, we wanted a championship, and everybody wanted a championship so bad. We chose a business path by increasing entry fees, and then to throw that in there. And look, man, if I could live my life in retrospect, whether it's hunting, fishing, shooting coyotes, whatever it is, I would be really much, much better at all of it if I could go, well, in retrospect, I don't want to do that. look, man, we made the best decision we had at the time. And then we go, well, we're either going to fold this thing up or we're going to make an all-out push for it. We got the $100,000 deal done. We got the championship. And I will tell you this, man, I have been approached more between when we did that and, like, I had two of the anglers that were in the area. I'll leave it at that. They called me and said, hey, man, can I stop by Texarkana and have a chat with you?
Very cool.
And I really feel like we kind of hit we think year 4 is the turning point for us with the field, or we will cap the field at 130. And we are really excited about what's in front of us. The schedule is coming together really, really nicely. I think it's going to be maybe the best schedule we've ever put out in year 4. I'm really excited about it. The venues we have, the times we have them there. It's hard to make everybody happy with the schedule. But man, we try, I think we're starting to establish an identity. And here's the key for the MPFL that we think is a pillar of our business right now. We need to become more consistent so we're more predictable, so anglers don't have to wonder what we're going to do.
Yeah,
And
totally
then,
agree. And that's all of
you're
bass
one-
fishing. That's all of bass fishing to a
Yeah.
certain extent, right? I will say that,
It is.
but we do have to put our, we've got our foundation laid. This is who we are year after year for sure. Yeah.
We are starting to develop an identity within the bass fishing world, within the competitive tournament fishing world. We kind of know who we are. We're growing in the realm. We're maturing, if you will, as a company. We're maturing as a business. Awesome conversations with really good sponsors. We got great partners. We feel like the product we provide to them is unique, and the way we provide it is unique. The kind of people we are and the way we sit down and talk to people is probably a little different than what you'll get from other entities in the same kind of business model. But man, it feels good to be where we are with what we have in front of us, and we're really excited about it.
Yeah, man, it's every time we finish one, B and I always say, well, we did it again. We did it again because it was such a, for all of us, man, sitting around planning 2021, it was such a pipe dream to pull off. And then, and it couldn't be pulled off without what you guys do. And logistically, it's just amazing to watch when you're on site, what you have been able to do. And then to have partners like we do with the Fix crew and all that, man, it's funny. I was thinking this week too, thinking back to like Eufaula, that inaugural tournament and all the technical issues, and it's just wild. Those first couple of days were just a lot of you just never knew. And I remember you and I in the trailer after the confetti had fallen, so to speak, and you and I just kind of having this emotional moment, like, well, we did it. Because it was this, there was so much buildup headed into it. And then we kind of, we stubbed our toe at the end of 2021 and then got back on track last year. And last year was great, man. And I feel like everything, the live coverage gets better every single time. No thanks to me, but just from a technical standpoint, we get better at what we're doing. I think we're providing the anglers such a great outlet there. I'll pat ourselves on the back for that, because it's killer. And if people knew the skeleton crew that we pull that off with, they would probably laugh, to be honest, because it's not some 30-man production. It's just not. And it's just like the organization. There aren't 40 of you guys running around there making sure things are right. It's a skeleton crew, and we just keep pulling it off, man. And it's I can't wait to see where it heads. It's just so much fun.
Well, man, so start with the production deal. That's Brian Keller, Fixed Productions, Kyle, Matt,
Kyle,
all the camera guys.
Wait a second. Kyle Carpenter doesn't do anything. Let's go back to that. He just eats corn dogs.
Yeah, it feels like a family. I mean, I know that gets thrown around a lot, but man, it just does. We fight like family. We celebrate like family, and I wouldn't have it any other way, man. And we bring people in to help us that are emotionally invested in us as people first, right? Like, you can't ask the guys that come and help us to do what they do during the week if they're not emotionally invested.
That's right.
Right. And that's the secret sauce, man. Like, no one's here for a paycheck, right? I mean, that's just the fact of it. They're here because they love and care about us, and they want this thing to succeed. And as long as we keep that going, man, I keep telling guys, we're not going anywhere, bro. Like we're too dumb to quit, and we're just mean enough to make it happen. And that's what we're going to do. And we're going to keep our head down and keep working.
Hey, listen, my whole life, that old saying, if you're going to be dumb, you better be tough. I've been tough a long time because I've never been smart, man. And I've never known when to quit, and I've never known when to say no. And man, it's awesome to be a part of it, man. Like I said at the first, I hate that this one shook out this way because, like you said, we're always under a microscope, and I feel like every organization is. I think every pro fisherman is. I think there are always just there's just so many people out there that love to roll around in negativity for sure, and so they wait for things like this to happen. But this was just such an innocent, honest mistake, and we did the best we could with it. Hated the decision had to be made, but ultimately, what else, what other decision was there to be made? You know what I mean? Like, there's no other option.
Yeah,
there's no other option.
There was, in our eyes and within the scope of how we do business, there was no option. And I will tell you this, I'll just, for all the mom's basement dwellers are like, man, you guys should do this. Here's the deal. We run a grown-up league here. We publish rules, we set expectations, and we hold people accountable. That's period. It. Right? And if you're not down with that life, then go somewhere and watch and go somewhere else and fish. That's the way we're going to do it. And we're not going to change it.
That's right.
There are professionals that understand the rules, and even when you understand the rule, man, I had a guy make a great analogy. He goes, man, it's like double dribbling in basketball. You broke a rule, but you're not a cheater because you double dribbled or traveled.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, listen, this was a terrible mishap. An administrative error is what I'm labeling this thing as. And but man, we're not going to upset the apple cart and bring everybody in. And because next thing you know, Luke, I'll be going to everybody's house at night to make sure their alarm's set.
That's so true. You would, though, if it meant the success of the anglers, because I know you, because I've seen the things you've done helping guys get their boats running and trucks running and this, that, and the other. I've seen these things, so I know you would, but it's just crazy to think that you would have to go set their alarm clocks.
Well, or hey, man, every boat, we're going to go around and make sure that there are plugs in their boat.
That's what I said. That's what I said before I called you. I said, we're going to start making sure everybody's batteries are charged and that they got gas and that they got snacks.
So the other thing I'm going to check is, I'm going to make sure, I'm going to go around every reel that's on the guy's deck. I'm going to make sure their drag is properly set. Yes. I'm going to take a meter, a pound test, and I'm going to pull and make sure that they got, 10 to 13 pounds of drag on the reels. That's the level we're willing to go to.
Yeah.
No, man, you know where I'm going with that.
Yeah, man.
You have to draw a line and go, hey, man, this is your responsibility. This is how we're going to police it. And you let that system work. And that's what we did. And people don't understand. We polygraph 3 to 5 anglers at every event.
Yes.
Part of that polygraph, what we call our tournament verification, is the polygraph, and we check for fishing license per se, right? So this is something we do at every single event. There was one event in 21 that we didn't do it because the polygrapher got in a car accident on his way to give the polygraph, and we couldn't find anyone to replace him. I don't remember which event that was, but man, this is just, we have procedures, we have methodologies in place for dealing with this, and that's exactly what we do at every single tournament. And the anglers know this process.
For sure.
It's not a pop-up thing.
Is there any way we could polygraph Fat Cat to see how he's losing all this weight?
So, yeah.
Because I think he's on some miracle drug or something, and he's just not telling us. He's doing something off the black market. There's no doubt about it.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's probably a lot of things he's doing on the black market, and maybe weight loss is a byproduct. But
Oh man, he's killing it, man. We have so much fun. Now I will say, I feel like sometimes in life I'm set up to fail. I do a lot of failing on my own, but I feel like I'm set up to fail. And I think this year with this weighing in show on the Fixed TV app, we're being set up to fail because I feel like at some point somebody's going to call and go, hey guys, it's been real and it's been fun, but it hasn't been real fun. We'll see you later. Because if you're like, hey, you can kind of be uncensored. You guys can just have fun. And we're like, are you sure?
Well, and for the low lifers watch, like, dude, that show is just, honestly, it's an experiment.
Right? Yeah, and it's in its infancy.
Hey, You know, listen, I say it like, man, it's painful to every weigh in. Like every weigh in bass fishing is unless you got a vested interest in it by somebody.
I'm with
Like
that.
I was watching. We got some great text messages today from JL Associates. You know what I mean? From JM. You know what I mean? Those guys were reaching out saying, "Hey, man, sorry you had to do that," while they're running a tournament.
No
right?
doubt.
So that meant a lot to me that those guys took the time to personally reach out and say, "Hey, man, I know you're having a rough day. Like, keep your head up. You guys are doing great things." From the guys over at Bass, and that meant a lot to me. And I watched Patrick, but man, the weighing in show is just trying to push the envelope on. You know, when you say growing the sport, like we're literally trying to do things outside the box to make it more entertaining. And I thought, you know, we talked about. I thought Saturday was better than Friday, and we're still figuring that thing out. And man, I'm just excited about the potential there and what could happen there.
Dude, it's fun for us because we watch the weigh-in because unfortunately, you know, we're not on site, and we were always at the weigh-ins anyway. So Fat Cat Night's kind of an inside look because we normally just bro out watching the weigh-ins together on a laptop and make comments like that anyway. So we're normally giving Al crap regardless of whether he can go back and watch it or not, right? So now we get to do it and interview anglers. It's a good time, man. I'm looking forward to seeing what that becomes for us just because it's an experiment. It's in its infancy stage. And I think it'll only get better, though, as long as Fat Cat tightens up a little bit.
Yeah, man, there's a lot of potential there. And trust me, I'm glad you guys are bringing the light, the pudding in the pocket. It's been an issue at the NPFL. And I'm glad you guys are shedding some light on it because we really need to, you know, we got to tighten that up. And, you know, everyone's got their problems and issues, but hey, man, we're willing to work with that and make sure we can get that squared away.
Listen, man, I can't even hear other people say that without feeling like I need to be put in some kind of mental institution, that was something that we came up with and think is a good idea to just keep saying.
Listen,
I'm
the crazy
so
thing is,
embarrassed by that, but it's also so amazing at the same time.
That's that kindergarten comedy, man. Like,
oh, dude.
It's, Listen, so when I'm running around at the venue, I've got you guys in one ear. I've got Al on the stage up there. Then I got every angler and every member in the field.
Man, that's enough to
talking
drive you.
to me. So I don't get to hear all of it. But for some reason,
don't go watch it.
Every time you guys say, you know, Mitchell Webb saying, "Well, he reached in my pocket," you know what I mean? Like, man, listen, if we can't have fun doing this, Luke, as hard as this is and painful, like, if we can't have fun, man, like, I'm done, bro. Like, send me to the house.
No doubt, man. Well, it's fishing. It's supposed to be fun. And, dude, I got to tell this now just real quick, but the pudding pocket thing, if you have watched the weigh-in show, you've heard us say it way too much, and we've said it on live also, and you're probably like, well, what are these two idiots talking about? Al, for some reason, at the last event was like talking to somebody on stage about he'd seen him at a restaurant and something about banana pudding, and he just kept saying banana pudding. And Fat Cat's like, he's probably got some in his pocket. And I said, old pudding pocket, McCullough. And it was just, we now say it way too much.
So there's, and listen, man, Al is a dream to work with. He's grown as an MC. Like, I'm really happy for the company where it is. But I watched a little bit of weighing in because I didn't get to see all of it. So Richard Key, the guys, some of the staff guys were out in the parking lot of the hotel playing bags. You know what I mean? Like cornhole. Yeah. And they challenged Richard Key for maybe a couple bucks, and Richard Key said, "Man, you guys don't want to do that." Well, Richard Key walked away, probably paying for his tournament, and but the way Al put it, I was like, oh my God, dude! Like, these people probably think we're just the most derelict individuals in the world. He
said he was getting back. You know, he made some money off of bags last night. We were like, whoa, what?
Yeah, dime bags.
Yeah, that was Fat Cat. I would never say such. I don't even know what a dime bag is. So I told him last night.
But man, these guys are, man. We had 67 landing, rolled out the red carpet. And we had so much fun with the anglers down there.
Oh, man.
And all that, man. The camaraderie is, man, it reminds me of the service. You know what I mean? Like,
for sure,
guys,
I mean, I could see that.
And it's important, man. And I think the guys understand how much we care. and I know how much they care. And when you keep that mutual respect for each other, it's that the culture of the MPFO is really, really good, and it's something that we care a lot about.
No doubt, buddy, and it'll just continue to grow and get better as long as we can maintain that focus, and I know we will, man. And I appreciate you joining me, dude. I know you're wore out. You guys do so much. You're driving back all the way home in Ohio from Texarkana. You're pulling the trailer. You got the boss lady with you, but I appreciate you, dude. I told you last night I would love to do a podcast with you about this. I just felt like it was a good opportunity to get you on and chat, and I think the league being transparent and always kind of just laying it out there. You've never been shy about it. You're like me, and that's why we get along. And man, I can't thank you enough for doing it, buddy.
Well, man, I appreciate it. I'm going to go home, and hopefully about 7:05 in the morning, I'm going to fill my turkey tag, and then I'll get back to work on MPFL stuff.
I like it. Go yacht one in for me, buddy. I got to be on an airplane.
All right, man.
Brad Fuller, everybody. Thank you, dude.
All right, my man. Be good.
Brad Fuller right there, National Professional Fishing League, El Presidente. He wears a lot of hats, man. We've, like I said, with Skeleton Crew, but grateful for that guy, having him and in my life and my family, man. It's he's a good guy, and I just think that I have been critical, obviously, and will be again, of things we've done, things other tournament trails have done. Obviously, it's like, I'm the first one to kind of admit when I'm wrong or different things. But I think emotionally we all get caught up in things, and you forget sometimes that human element when you go after things. And that's one thing working with the MPFL has done for me from a critiquing standpoint, I guess, is there's a lot of emotion that goes on. There's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears behind all these tournament trails and things they're doing. And sometimes it's easy to go, oh, well, that's stupid, or this happened or that happened, or cast judgment, whatnot. And, they're doing a lot. They're doing a lot all the time. And putting a great platform out there, man. I'm glad to be a part of it. So thank y'all for listening to that. Thanks, Brad, for joining in. Thank y'all for tuning in each and every week. I really appreciate it. I'm going to keep doing it. As long as y'all listen, as long as y'all watching, I'll keep running my mouth week in and week out. I'm going to take y'all out today. I got a note from a buddy of mine, Travis Teague from out there in Oklahoma. And he said, man, I know everybody likes Biloxi Blues, but I love your song Cigarette Silhouette. It's one I wrote many years ago, and it's on that same little record that Biloxi Blues is on. So I'm going to take y'all out with a little Cigarette Silhouette today. Also, real quick, shout out to my boy Cameron Blair. Cam is finishing the deck project here at the house after I got just train wrecked by a contractor that's just, anyways, long story I've talked about on here. But Cameron Blair, he's a low lifer. He's putting the railing up. He's almost finished. It looks freaking awesome. I'll share a video soon. Thank y'all. Take you out with some Cigarette Silhouette. Wrote this about a girl at a bar. Imagine that. It'll play here in a second. I promise. There it goes. There it goes. See.